Hello and good day, everyone. My name is Mustafa Sroor, and I'm from HKM Company. Today, me and my team will be talking about engineering ethics cases, mainly the Internet shutdown that rocked Egypt and the Space Shuttle Challenger disaster. So, our content from this presentation will be an introduction about my team, my company profile, and will also include an introduction about engineering ethics. Then, we will begin discussing both cases and the similarities between both cases, and we'll end with future considerations and IEEE or IEM Code of Ethics. At the end of this presentation, there will be contact information for further inquiries. So this is our team. First, Hassan Ahmed Fahmy, our CEO, and myself, Mustafa Sroor, the R&D manager. Also, we have Khalid Saeed, our quality engineer, and Abdurrahman Hamdi, our HR director. This is our company profile. We are an engineering consultation company offering services to engineers in Germany. So our services is basically helping engineers secure job positions in Germany and educating engineers about engineering ethical codes. Our aim is to expand throughout Europe and become a worldwide company. Also, we aim to raise awareness for engineering ethics. So this is a little bit of introduction about engineering ethics. So on a day-to-day basics, our engineers inquire situations where there are a lot of unknown variables. So this is why they must test their work or their designs thoroughly to ensure it operates without harming any people or their environment surrounding them. So engineering itself or the act of engineering is governed by laws, many of which are regarding ethical principles. However, some actions or many actions can be considered legal but still remain unethical, and vice versa. Some actions may be viewed as ethical but might be viewed illegal. As an engineer, one must make a decision or a choice when ethics and laws conflict. Now, on to our next slide with our next presenter, which will be talking about the cases we'll be discussing today.
Assalamu alaikum and greetings everyone. This is Khalid Saeed from HKM Company. Today I'd like to talk about the case 1, which is the internet cut-off in Egypt in 2011. Okay, beginning with the what happened because of the corruption of the Egyptian government. Demonstration took place, which is Tahrir Square, calling for the overthrow of the regime. So the Egyptian regime ordered the internet companies to cut off the internet from the country to prevent gathering against it, where demonstrations used internet websites like Facebook and Twitter to talk about the corruption of the Egyptian government and ask other people to join them in the Tahrir Square, where this square was the main point of gathering of demonstrations. Okay, about the causes, in a lighting strike, technicians first cut off nearly all international traffic through those portals. The domestic internet should have survived that strike, but the cutoff also revealed how dependent Egyptians' internal networks are on moment-to-moment information from systems that exist only outside the country, including email servers at companies. The government's attack left Egypt not only cut off from the outside world, but also with its internal systems in a sort of comatose state. Servers, cables, and fiber optic lines were largely up and running, but too confused or capable to carry information save a dribble of local email traffic and domestic websites. They drilled unexpectedly all the way down to the bottom layer of the internet and stopped all traffic flow. Moving on to the effects. This act, of course, led to huge losses on wide levels in terms of morals and others. Many shops were looted in that period, and many important documents were destroyed inside the country. Criminals spread in the streets, and no one knows the real news of the street. from where you got the means call, speak to the police, or tell others what is happening in your area, not to mention the problems afflicting the health sector. Also, the biggest loss that the regime scarified for its own benefit, it intimidating investors from the idea of investing in Egypt. This movement, the movement of cutting off the internet and what followed, contributed greatly to the change in the stock exchange and a great loss for many companies. This makes the investor think a lot before coming to invest in Egypt, and this is a served blow to the Egyptian company. Okay, that's all for me, and thank you.
Assalamu alaikum and good morning. My name is Hassan Ahmed and I'm going to discuss about the case of the IE book Space Shuttle Challenge Disaster. The book overview. This space shuttle was operated by the U.S. National Aero Nations and this administration NASA. This space shuttle was occurred on January 28 in 1986. The problem with this space shuttle, it was exploded after it was launched. It was exploded into 73 second parts and killing all the crew members aboard. The cases of this space shuttle that to explode. First case is the failure of the two redundant O-ring seals in the joint of the space shuttle of the rocket booster, and the record low temperature that caused to reduce the electricity of the rubber O-rings, reducing their ability to seal the joints. The second case is the broken seals caused a breach in the joint shortly after liftoff, which allowed gases from within the SRB to burn, and then after it burned the adjacent external fuel tank through the wall of the adjacent fuel tank. The effect that has happened after this disaster. First effect is that the disaster caused the space shuttle program to be interrupted for around 32 months. The second effect is that the president of the USA of this time make a team to investigate the accident problems and accident cases. Third effect is the crew and the many other vehicles were recovered after around 3 months of research. The cynical issues. First issue is that a lot of money was lost on the space shuttle challenge disaster. Second thing is a lot of money was spent in the rescue program also. And third thing, the affect NASA programs for the space discovery. This is also the line graph for IE case. You can see here we have around 6 points, and this line graph go to the negative side of the problem.
So this is the flow chart for the Space Shuttle Challenger case. So our initial situation is that the shuttle engineers have problems with the O-rings that help keep the gases from escaping. And these rings were actually found to be weakened by the gases themselves. So the engineers changed the design and made the O-rings thicker. And the next possible step was for the engineers to run test trials on the shuttle, which the shuttle failed. So the ethical step or the ethical action that was supposed to be taken is for the engineers to change the design and try to use steel billets instead of O-rings and retry the test runs, which was unfortunately not the situation in our disaster, since the NASA engineers were pressured by the government and corporates to launch the shuttle with its defective O-rings, which caused the shuttle to crash and cost a lot of money and a lot of human loss. And this is the end of our case study.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum. This is Abdurrahman Hamdi from my HKM from the HR department. I'll be discussing about similarities in both cases we discussed earlier by my peers. So basically both cases happened to personal and government interest, and both of them happened without considering the engineer opinion on this matter. And this caused a lot of losses in human being or money concerned. and both caused a lot of fairness among people in the community. There were investigations to punish people responsible for both cases, as we know what we know so far, and for future consideration to avoid such cases happening ever again. We suggest that we consider engineers' opinion on all matter and aspects concerning such cases, which an engineer opinion would matter and should be taken in consideration. And also put an international law like the human rights law, or add it to the human rights law that internet should be accessible to everyone and no one should be restricted from accessing the internet whatsoever. So IEE codes of ethics concerning these cases. So first of all, we have rule number 9, which is a professional engineer activities rule to avoid injuring others, their property, reputation, or employment by false or malicious action, rumor, or any other verbal or physical abuse. And also, there is rule number 4, professional corporate activities to avoid unlawful conduct in professional activities and to reject bribery in all its forms. A professional engineer shouldn't accept a bribe to give anyone unfair advantages, anything. And also rule number 5, professional engineer concerning the professional engineer activities to seek, accept, and offer honest criticism of technical work, to acknowledge and correct errors, to be honest and realistic in stating claims or estimated based on available data, and to credit properly the contribution of others. And a professional engineer should accept criticism and shouldn't be too full of himself and think he can make any errors, and he should accept others' judgments and statistics and data, and to be honest and realistic about his claims, and also to credit properly any contribution made by someone else, not to steal anyone's effort or work. And there is a for IEM Code of Ethics, Professional Corporate Activities section. Every corporate member shall express his professional skills to the best of his ability and discharge his professional responsibility with integrity. So each professional member of the corporate shall express his skills to the best of his abilities and shouldn't be not using his full ability in any kind of activity in the corporate, and should be working to his fullest and with responsibility and integrity. And concerning the professional engineer activities section, every member of any grade shall observe and be bound by ethical code of professional conduct and the professional conduct regulation made thereunder. So every member of the corporate shall be observed by the ethical code, and anyone is under subject by that code. So this is our contact. We have here our address, an email address, our phone number, and that's all. Thank you all for listening to this presentation. This presentation was made for educational purposes as a part of our course assessment under the guidance and supervision of Prof. IR, Dr. Siva, and Idris. Thank you all. That's all.